And now for the horizon scan on materials, please welcome Engineer Ayan Tabañag.
Let's start with the craziest thing our local researchers have been doing. Do you know that the pig heart can be decellularized and be used as a matrix for human cells to grow a human heart? They are researchers that are developing membranes that filter seawater to water. Most importantly, researchers are developing biomaterials from shrimp waste, mango waste, algae as replacement for single-use plastics. With bioplastics that are degradable, then we don't have a problem with marine plastic litter. Manufacturing industries in the Philippines are quite traditional in the sense that their technologies are more than 2 decades already. Biotechnology actually provides us options to lower the materials utilization or even energy utilization in our traditional manufacturing processes. When we talk about biotechnology, it presents a pathway that is a sustainable alternative from the traditional pathways and then to a sustainable biological production scheme, which is environmentally friendly, green, and to create processes that use less materials, less energy, to have products that are wanted by the society.
Maayong alakdag in Bisaya, a good science, and good afternoon to everyone. So allow me to tell you the story on how we tried to have a horizon scan for the area of materials, or we can say biomaterials. This is the only operational area that is tangible product, that deals in tangible products. So let's start the story with this crazy young guy here. Next slide, please. As to why I'm in this project. So next animation. So my background is really on biochemical engineering. I dealt with bioprocess engineering and industrial biotechnology. And in my spare time, I also represent the country in the biannual Asian Congress on Biotechnology as organized by the Asian Federation of Biotechnology. So next year, maybe we're gonna have it in, I forgot, but in the next round, we hope to have it here in the Philippines because we already have the starting document. Horizon scan. All right, next animation. My training on biotechnology was really on the creating designer proteins, engineered microorganisms, and nano biocatalysts. So during my graduate school, next slide please, we tried to put enzymes on the surface of yeast. Imagine just a yeast cell having arms. Then the picture that you see there are the enzymes that are displayed on the surface of yeast. So they produce a very good picture if you put in fluorophores to detect them. Before that, we also tried to produce functional cellulose that can degrade organophosphates in wastewater. So organophosphates are from the pesticides. So we tried to create an engineered protein that is immobilized on outer membrane vesicles. So yung OPH degrading enzyme andun siya. Tapos, we immobilize it on cellulose so that we have a functionalized cellulose in the end. So that's what we dealt with during graduate school. And I won't be surprised when I came back here, we don't have that capability to do those type of stuff. That's why this horizon scan is a very important topic for me. It's a starting point for our biotechnology infrastructure. All right, next slide. Since this is the most tangible out of all operational areas, we had very difficulty because there are a lot of materials that are going around and produced biotechnologically. So we had to sit down and with my team and then discuss what are the categories of biomaterials. So we ended up with 3. Those that are biologically derived. So you can see here derived from biomass, animal waste. I feature here the polymer created by the Center for Sustainable Polymers in Mindanao. The coconut-derived polyurethane foam, which we have used in the recent oil spill, and it has a good oil-absorbing capability. We also have biologically synthesized materials that basically your biopolymer is produced from
fermentation processes. We have two that the OST has been funding, polyhydroxyalkanoates and polylactic acid. So these are basically biodegradable plastics. So pag tinapon, if you throw it, then it degrades. Lastly are biomaterials that are created using biologically assisted synthesis. The Center for Sustainable Polymers have been working on self-healing concrete. So we have it here already. We also have mycelium biocomposites. So mycelia, what they call this, the family of mushroom and all, they can use that as fibers for composite materials, insulation, even shoes. But yeah, our researchers are doing it here now in the country. Moving on, we tried a stakeholder elicitation. We only had 14 participants. And these 14 participants, most of them, or 10 of them, are part of what we call a special interest group on the bio-based economy. So we want to have that bio-based economy here in the country, and it all starts with the voice of that special interest group. So we had those people, and then we elicited, okay, we are 14 here, or 15 if you include me. Give me 2 technologies or 2 products that you want to be in the Philippines in the next few years. So you'll be surprised that we came up with 27, and these are quite, some of which are quite away from the materials area. Next slide, please. We tried to narrow it down to 10, but still, if you see the red areas, those are still, those are ideas that are cross-cutting to the other operational areas. So we had working number of ideas. We had these 3, natural fiber products, precision fermentation, and surfactant for biomaterials. Then, next slide, please. We tried to have a key technology insight from those 3 that we got from the top 10. And surprisingly, what we ended up was biopolymers. So we want biopolymers in the Philippine market for the next few years. And based on what I presented earlier, those researches are done in the local landscape. So we just wanted to put this in some sort of that idea to market framework in the product design landscape. So we looked at what are the feedstocks that those technologies are using, conversion technologies, and what are the biopolymers. So we have PHA, PLA, oil-based polyols, algae carrageenan, crustacean carrageenan, and also fish-derived gelatin, chitin, if I'm not mistaken, for crustacean, and those bio-GU polymers. Now, what really did a good good output that we got from this Horizon Scan is really on the industrialization and the market area. Those are the very good insights that were given to us by the industry and professional organization practitioners. Basically, we in the engineering, we produce a product and we do a product push to the market. That's not the model now. You should have a market pull, that market demand. So their insights that they had was really on, the government should have policies that should stimulate the market for biopolymers. Number 1 is the sustainability labeling. You have if you use biopolymers, then this is sustainable. Then you have incentives for production of biopolymers. You have some, what they call that, restrictions or penalties for those that are not using biopolymers. And then educate the public that even if it's slightly expensive, then it's sustainable. So it's good for our environment and for sustainability. So that's what we found out. And then the industry practitioners are really keen on having that market scenario, because in the business perspective, you don't want to sell a product that is not wanted. That's what we did for our biofuels. We created the market for biofuels by the biofuels law, the mandate to use biofuels to cut greenhouse gas emissions from vehicles. We want to see that for biopolymers and to extend it to other products derived from microbial biotechnology. So where are we going with this? So we tried to put this in a roadmap landscape. So where we are now is that we are currently funding a pilot scale production project for polyhydroxyalkanoates. So that's what we want to see by 2025. So if you look at the status of biopolymer technology, we're still at the technology validation phase. Then by looking at the TRL levels, next animation please, by 2030, we want to have that pilot scale project launched, right, along with other developments. By 2040, we would like to see it being pre-commercialized along with the policies for sustainability labeling. Lastly, we want it to enter the market because our overall vision is to have biopolymers in the Philippine market. So where am I going with this? Why do we want this? This is a close topic to my heart because during my free time outside my DOST work, I volunteer to various non-government organizations for marine environmental protection, and one of them is the Philippine Coast Guard Auxiliary. So we have been advocating for the past 4 years in the national baselining for marine litter. Every cleanup activity that we organize, we ask the people to really collect the data. And surprisingly, what have we found out? Single-use plastics are those that end up in our mangrove areas or beaches and even on the side of the roads. So what we did, we combined this with our funded project on the pilot scale for PHA, just did shorthand calculations based from that data that we have 35% of our annual plastics consumption go to the environment directly. So that's 0.75 million tons per year. And as we suspect, those are single-use plastics. Then we look at our biomass-rich country. We are rich in corn stover, sugarcane bagasse. If you could just convert that to polyhydroxyalkanoate-based bioplastics, you can produce approximately more than twice of that amount. And not all, although some might argue, you might contend that bioplastics are not as good as the traditional plastics. Yeah, I agree with you. But not all packaging materials need to be as good as the traditional plastics. Some of them can be replaced. Now imagine if a significant portion of that will be replaced by bioplastics, then we won't have that problem in our coastal cleanups where we require you to attend just for the clout or in the Instagram, right? So even that's our tagline. So you attend the cleanup, you can have a very good Instagram picture. We don't care if you have a good Instagram picture, but you prevent one piece of marine litter going to the environment. All right, so, and we had the opportunity to combine our baseline data for plastics with what we did with PCAARRD. And yeah, we did this contribution for the UN Multi-Stakeholder Forum that was done last May. And this would feed the high-level political forum for this coming July. So the status and the policy recommendations for plastics research and bioplastics are summarized in this document, and we look forward to collaborate with you guys, specifically in the information education campaigns for sustainability in biopolymers area. With that, I would like to end this presentation with, we are already starting with bioplastics, so why not go for the rest of the circular bioeconomy? So with this, I thank my collaborators, right? Those 14 people, although it's not 14 here because these are just the guys who volunteered to be authors of this manuscript. So I would like to thank, I will not mention them one by one, I would like to thank them for their contributions to this very good conversation on biomaterials, narrowing it down to biopolymers. With that, thank you very much and good afternoon.